as a kid in Colbrook, a lot of my friends lived on dairy farms, and I just want to say this is not a barn. But I'm really honored to be here tonight to recognize the extraordinary career of Linda Mallon. 40 years. 40 years. I graduated from law school 40 years ago. Linda and I were in law school at the same time. She graduated before me, so you can do the math. But at the time, it seemed like 40 years was an eternity, right? What am I going to be doing in 40 years? And here we are 40 years later, and it's gone by quickly. But we were at a law school that we called Frank's. I think they call it the UNH School of Law now, but it was Franklin Pierce Law Center. And Linda has dedicated her entire career to public service, providing protection and advocacy for literally thousands of people who can't advocate for themselves. And I've had the good fortune to work on a number of projects and efforts with Linda over the years. I went to Colbrook last weekend, and on my way back, I stopped at the courthouse in Lancaster because I'm in the process of cleaning stuff out, and I went into my old chambers that I hadn't been in for a while, and it was like going back in time. So shaking the dust off some files, and I went down memory lane on a few things that Linda and I had worked on. The first file I found was from early 2007 when I had just taken over as the administrative judge of what was then the probate court, and Linda and I were on a panel in March of 07 with Ken Nielsen, and it was, I remember, well-attended statewide program on guardianships, and that's really when I first got to know Linda. And then in that file was this brochure, the Office of Public Guardian, and Linda's business card. But the interesting thing about the brochure is it has the 2 Pillsbury Street address, but if you look, it's a sticker, and with glasses you can read through and you can see the White Street address. So obviously resourceful, and don't throw things away. I'll give that to you. You might be able to use it again. We worked on the New Hampshire Handbook for Medical Decision Making, which was we had those printed, and all the probate courts had them to give out. Linda's been an enormous help training our judges, and has come to numerous trainings over the years. She helped me when I went down the road for professional guardians and developing the standards. She was extremely helpful during that process. When we went to e-filing or electronic filing, don't blame Linda, she didn't do it, but she was helpful in the process and made it better than it might have otherwise been. She's really been a sounding board for me and our staff on multiple issues. When Patty Cole heard you were retiring, she said it can't be, it just can't happen. So she certainly looked to you for guidance over the years as well. And I've tried to help out when I can with, to give back on budgetary issues. I don't think I was probably very successful, but it's been a collaborative relationship between the Office of Public Guardian and the courts. And it's continued to grow, and it's impressive to me. One of Linda's talents is obviously hiring great people, great guardians, and recruiting talented board members, some of whose names are on this brochure. So I've been around for a long time, and I know that's key to any agency like this. Linda spent a career ensuring that those who can't make decisions for themselves are protected, and OPG, we know, takes the most difficult cases, and the most difficult cases take the most time, and you don't get paid enough to cover your costs in those. You don't have the resources that you need. It's been mentioned already, but leading an organization like this through the COVID-19 pandemic, I know what it was like trying to lead the court system, and your guardians had wards who you couldn't visit, who were in institutions, I'm sure, and I know you probably all lost wards that you couldn't say goodbye to, and I can't imagine the stress that was on the organization and how Linda kept you going through that. I've been sitting on guardianship cases for 34 years, and there's really 2 basic things that the judge has to do, right? First, decide if someone needs a guardian, that they meet the statutory requirement and the burden of proof that they're incapacitated and it's the least restrictive alternative. And then the second issue always is, who are we going to appoint? And oftentimes that's the most difficult decision for the judge. And I can tell you, I speak for myself, my colleagues who are here, my colleagues who came before me, that when we got those petitions and we would see the Office of Public Guardian on the proposed line, it's kind of like a relief, because we know if we're going to appoint OPG, that the person is going to be well taken care of, that they're going to have the resources to protect the ward ethically and in the least restrictive means possible. And lots of times you come back and say, you know, the ward's doing great, let's either remove some restrictions or maybe we can terminate the guardianship, which is always a great thing for a judge to do. I know I share one wish with Linda, which is that OPG will, going forward, have adequate funding and resources to take more cases. And whatever I can do to help, Lisa Brent, I'll help. But congratulations, Lynn, on an amazing career. Lisa Brent has huge shoes to fill. And I wish you a long, happy, and healthy retirement. If you have a bucket list, I hope you can check everything off. And I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.